Hey everybody, and welcome to the Stitch Sessions. Today my guest is the lovely Miss Asha. Super excited to have her with us. Say hi everybody.
Hello everybody.
So we're lucky to have her. She's super busy. We finally managed to squeeze her into, she managed to squeeze us into her schedule. So we're going to show her a couple of stitches that she's excited about learning, and we're going to catch up and see what's been going on.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Stick around. Hey, you're taking to this pretty quickly. Indeed. So, girlfriend, I'm super excited to finally sit down with you. You're so freaking busy these days.
I know.
But what I did want to start off with is we're just coming off of Thanksgiving weekend, and I thought a great topic of conversation would be gratitude.
Absolutely.
So, what are you most grateful for?
I
know there's so much, but
I'm most grateful for this particular moment. It's been how many years? 21 years we've known each other?
20. Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And
we were children when we met.
Yes. Yes. We're about 15 years old.
I say 10, but whatever. So I know you've been through a lot of transition in your life,
yes,
and career and personal stuff. So
yes,
what, like this year as we celebrate Thanksgiving, like have there been anything in particular that you've kind of sat back and thought, wow, I'm really grateful for, or thankful that I have this, or I have accomplished this, or I have overcome X, Y, Z?
My strength.
Tell me more.
I can tell you that I have been blessed with a lot of strength. I am a survivor. I survived through good, bad, ugly, and I'm still looking fabulous, girl.
You are looking more than fabulous.
Oh, yes.
No, you're looking good. It's one thing. Asha always knows how to put herself together, for sure.
Yes, thanks to my mama.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing awesome. I have to say, and shout out to my bro. He did take it. He did take it pretty quickly, but
have you? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kirby. I think you've got some competition. I think he picked it up in about 11 seconds. You picked it up in 3. So this is a new record. So very nice. She's doing a chain stitch.
Okay.
And so I got her started, but I'm actually going to be working out a crossover stitch pattern to develop a fingerless glove pattern, which is going to be our next tutorial, so stay tuned for that. I'm sure you're all excited.
I am.
So how many do we have there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Let's do one more.
Okay.
Check it out. Okay, so now you've got, we call this a foundation row or foundation chain. This is the foundation of your garment, whatever you're going to make.
All right.
So maybe what we're going to do with you is we're going to make an ear warmer.
Let's do it.
Since fall is here and winter is on its way. So
I actually need one.
What we're going to do is you're going to chain one more. So now you have 11. Okay. So we needed that 11th one because now we're going to turn up and go back the other way.
All
so
right.
you're right-handed like me. So we're going to work from right to left.
All right.
So now what you're going to do is the second loop. So this one never counts. 1, 2. We're going to put our hook into it.
Just without the thread?
Yep.
So the second loop right there.
Yeah.
All
We're going
right.
to push it through.
Oops.
Oh, be careful not to split your yarn. And now you're going to yarn over and pull it back through. So then you're going to have 2. Girl, you are quick. So now you're going to have 2, and then you yarn over again and then finish it.
Alrighty.
Very nice. So now what you're going to do, this is like the easiest lesson I've ever had.
I love it.
So now what you're going to do is you're going to do it into all of them all the way back.
Okay.
So you're going to work back. So you should have 10 at the end.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, let's do this. So we were talking about gratitude and all the things that you're thankful for.
I think I messed up.
No, you're okay. Sometimes it stretches a little bit, so it's okay.
Okay.
In the first row, it can get a little bit stretchy.
All right.
But once you do a few more rows, it'll all come into play there.
I'm ready.
You're okay.
Okay.
So now just yarn over
Yarn over and
pull through.
both.
Yep.
Ah,
Very good. And then you want to make sure to go into this next one now.
Okay.
I have a little bit of my coffee in this morning.
That was beautiful.
I know how to treat my Asha.
Oh yes, all this is. You
So-
spoiled me.
Yeah, we've known each other a long time. We first met each other working at a local hotel. And Asha worked in housekeeping.
Yep.
And I worked at the front desk. I was just a little teeny bopper back then. And I don't know what it was. It was just something about your personality. It's like we just clicked right away.
We did. It was Christmas and we were both working.
Oh, yeah. Well, I started there in, it wasn't, oh gosh, I think it was fall when I started working there. And then Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the hotel was dead. I think we had a long-term guest.
Yes.
Do you remember his name?
No, I forgot.
Wasn't Mr. Viti. Mr. Viti used to come from Italy.
No, that was not Mr. Viti. We had a long time guest.
Yes.
I forgot his name, but you know,
It's
he was-
terrible. But
yeah.
he lived at the hotel. So this was, we'll call it an economy level hotel back then. We're talking quite a few years ago. And so he was a long-term guest. Like he lived in the hotel. So on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, one of those two, we were the lucky ones to work that shift. And it was basically, we were the only two staff, and he was Italian, but I'll call him Mr. Italy. It's terrible, I don't remember his name. He's quite old. And so he was just him in like 102 or something like that. We're in 102. So we horsed around like crazy that day. Like we went into all the floors, we checked out all the rooms, we figured out how the porn comes on the TV. It was hilarious. We're like, hey, what are all these channels? And then all of a sudden the two of us were like, oh my God, how do we turn this thing off?
That was a shock.
It was hilarious. The
okay.
shenanigans we pulled. It was, I mean, we were such kids, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
we had too much fun.
It was so fun.
Good old days.
You know, the days of our youth, and I mean, not that we're like ancient by any means, but you know, as you grow older and you start looking back,
Yeah.
it's amazing, like how much your perspective changes, the things that you go through,
Totally.
what you learn back then as you're becoming an adult or becoming your own, coming into your own.
Yes.
It's sweet. I mean, it's bittersweet because it's like, oh, you know, it was like the best of times. It's
It
also the
was.
worst of times because you're just getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
You're going through a lot of
Changes.
emotions, a lot of changes. And then here you are, you come out, you know, a little bit more mature, and still learning. Like, just when you think you've got it figured out, like, life will throw you a huge curveball, and you're back to square one going, oh,
Rolling with the punches.
Rolling with the punches, exactly. You got to roll with the punches because you got to
Yeah.
figure, okay, how do I navigate this? Like,
That's right.
you know, a relationship ending or switching jobs. Like, you now are a PSW,
Yeah.
personal support worker, and that's a big change.
It is,
That's a
actually,
big change.
yeah.
But you know what? You're so perfect for this job. She's amazing with people, even at the hotel. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we would have some of the most challenging guests sometimes, and there's Miss Asha, just
And I think
always
it's
smiling.
it's all what we went through, the experiences, you know, from starting from the bottom, bring ourselves up to mid-management, higher management, owning our own businesses, and you know, that I think it was our base, and that's why we are who we are today, and you know, doing it all.
And ready to adapt to
Yes.
anything new.
Absolutely.
Actually, speaking of our own businesses, Asha and I, years after we both left the hotel, we started our own cleaning business. And in fact, we started a couple of them. Depending, we had different gimmicks, different things like that. But we got really creative.
We did.
It was really fun. It was a lot of work because we started off doing residential homes.
Yes.
And so Asha came from the housekeeping department at the hotel, and my background is Portuguese, so I had a she's still around, a taskmaster of a mother who believed in a house needed to be super, super clean.
Yep.
Very thankful. Love you, Mom. Hi. So we definitely had that in common. So I think I came to help you one day. You were doing a job, and Asha was very impressed with my cleaning skills. And
I'm like, you're hired.
there you go. And then all of a sudden she just said, hey, why don't we do this together? And we had our first official venture was called Daisy Dream Cleaning. That was such a great time because we both love daisies. And so that was part of our logo and our gimmick. And after we'd clean a house, we'd always leave a fresh daisy on the kitchen counter.
Oh, we were really like good girls.
Well, we also had a lot more energy back then. I remember,
Yeah.
do you remember the time we did 3 houses back to back? And I also play in bands as well. So I had a gig that night. And I was literally on the floor. I got home. I was living with my boyfriend at the time. And I was like, I can't get up.
And you're like, girl, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
I don't know. It was challenging.
Yeah.
But we were so motivated. We had that hunger.
Yes.
We were into that creative mode and
We were.
getting something off the ground. And I look back on it now and I'm thinking, man, good for us. Like we went for it. But you know, like anything, it takes work. And sometimes, you know, younger people say, oh, I want to do this, or I want to make videos, or I want to, you know, have my own business. I want to do this. But, you know, what you see is the result of a lot of planning, a lot of work, and a lot of just perseverance.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely.
What would you say on that
I would
front?
say also focus
Actually,
and having
really good.
clarity on what you want.
Oh.
And I would say both of us have that talent. When it comes to work ethics, we are really good.
I would totally agree with
Yeah,
you.
like we're both very hardworking. We know what we want. We go for it. And anything we touch definitely turns to gold.
Well, I'd like to think so.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think that's a big part of why we get along so well is that
Yes.
when we're on, we are on. Like we go for it. Like
We
don't
don't
get me
give a
wrong.
fool around.
We are sisters. Can you tell? Can you see the resemblance? We
My
fight
dad
like
had an
sisters.
affair with a Portuguese woman.
Asha always called me her white sister. I call her my black sister.
That's right.
Sisters from another mother. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, because we get along so well, but we have that same focus.
Yeah.
But when we argue like sisters. But
Oh, yes.
yeah.
You should see that. We're like, I'm not talking to you
it's
today.
something to be seen. Yeah.
Just leave me alone.
But what's beautiful about our friendship is after 20 years, going on 21 years, it's like we can even go through phases where like, girl, I'm really over you right now. I
That's
cannot
right.
look at you for a week or two. And then after a week, it's like,
You don't go for lunch?
yeah, are you coming over? Like, let's do coffee.
I don't know.
It's how we roll. And that's what I think is the basis of a real friendship. And I think there's many different kinds of friendships, but some people will have friendships that are like you really like that person, you get along, but it's almost like a friendship that's on the surface. You know where not to kind of cross that line because there's that fear of confrontation, that fear of like, ooh,
I don't want to
diving.
lose you.
I don't want to lose you, and I don't want to go that deep.
Yes.
And it's not that there's nothing wrong with those kind of friendships because obviously they serve a purpose, right? Like you enjoy that person, they're bringing something into your life as you are to them, hopefully. But I think
agree.
there's something to a friendship where we can weather the down and dirty, the nitty gritty, and the hilarious and the joy and all that stuff. I think that's a type of friendship that you just feel it in your bones that you're connected. Like when you and I met, I don't know what it was, but it was like we just clicked. Like she's super fun, she's giggly. We spent many times going to remember Pizza Hut. We used to go to Pizza Hut all the time, like after work and
I don't
stuff.
know if you want to tell the story.
Yeah. Yes. We had many complaints with Pizza Hut, but for some strange reason, we kept going back in the hopes. You know, that's the other thing I think that we have in common. We hope for the best in people. We always feel that there is hope, that everybody has
giving another chance.
Giving another chance. I keep using the word hope, but because I feel that I hope other people would see that there's always a chance for redemption.
Yes.
In all of our faults. That
Yes.
I think that's why in the Pizza Hut example, no matter how often we would complain and say, "Oh my God, this is terrible," that we kept giving them that chance. We both were hopeful for redemption.
Yes.
Because I believe that everybody is deserving of redemption.
Absolutely. And I'm still the same. I would give crazy situations a chance.
Yeah.
As you know, my, personal
Right.
relationships and, what I've gone through with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you repeat it over and over again, hoping that this person is going to be, realize what he has, because I think I'm fabulous.
She is fabulous.
I am one of the best. I have the biggest heart. I'm loving. And it can be a problem sometimes because you get...
Like anything,
stepped on.
your biggest... Many years ago, when I was early in my dance career, because I teach dance for a living as well, one of my first bosses said to me, he says, your greatest strength is that you care so much about people.
Yeah.
But your greatest strength can also be your greatest weakness. It can be the greatest thing that holds you back.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that now you're talking about your situation with your ex-partner.
Yeah.
We've all been there where it's like our friends have said, "Girl, give it up. This guy is not worth it. He's done." Or she's just crazy. Like, you got to let her go. But there's something there that you're like, you have that hope that person is going to turn around. Because as a human, we all make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And even just listening to you talk about the mister there, I think about my own situation and how, I've even told some of my own friends, it's like, listen, he's a bastard, he's this, da-da-da. But you know what? When you're ready to be done, you will be ready. And however long it takes you, however many chances or hopes for redemption, that's up to you. Some people, one and done. It's over.
That's right.
Some people, maybe 2 or 3 or 20 times.
Or 3 years and a half. That I've lost a lot of family members who I've loved and they've loved me, but because of the situation and the mess, they go, you know what? We don't want to deal with that. We'll move back, and we still talk and say hello once in a while, but it'll never be the same.
It will never be the same. But at the end of the day, I really like to believe that the human connection will always be
there,
the strongest. That's it, and one thing, a couple years ago I went through a really bad breakup, and it just crushed my soul. But I remember, feel like it was also one of the most beautiful things that happened to me.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've ever heard of Glennon Doyle, I think her last name is. She wrote this book. Oh, I can't remember the name. I'll make sure to put the link below, but it was all about how life is brutiful, because it's through the brutal situations, the heartbreaks, that you actually find a way to work through the beautiful side of life,
and that's what makes you.
That's what makes you. Yeah, absolutely. And then of course, our girl Janla Van Zandt.
I love her.
She was really big on. I went through reading her a lot when I was going through that, and she said, because I was on the receiving end of the breakup. So her main thing that she gave advice to someone, she goes, everyone has a right to change their mind.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, that makes total sense. And stuff happens. Sometimes you just simply change your mind. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that it's pleasant or that anybody wants to go through that. Woo! But that was the first thing, is everyone has the right to change their mind. And the second thing that sticks with me to this day is you have to forgive everyone for everything. And I really, really embrace that. And funny, Amen. I embraced that in that particular situation, but I realized over the course of my life, I have always done that with all of my ex-boyfriends. Like when I was playing with the band and we were talking about ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, and I would always say, oh yeah, I talk to my ex, or I still call an ex and wish him a happy birthday. And I'll never forget, my drummer goes, why? I said, well, why not? Just because we're not boyfriend, girlfriend anymore doesn't mean that I don't think that they're a good person. They're still a fellow human being that I cared about at one time, and I still hope that they do well.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people are like, no, when I'm done, I'm done.
No.
See you later.
I don't believe in that.
Not to say that I'm going to collect all these ex-boyfriends, but, I still appreciate the fact that they were in my life. They were all special to me in that moment. And for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. And it's time to move forward. But I still look on every single situation with great fondness, including one in particular in my past who was actually a bit abusive. But I look back and I realize I feel for him. The reason why I feel for him is because he had a lot of demons, and we actually talked about it a lot. And so I could see he struggled. He wanted to be he wanted to be this person of love, but there was something in him that he always ended up leaning towards the negative, or being really he was really more mentally abusive than anything else. But I looking back now as a much more mature person, I see that he struggled. So I still send him love. I hope he's doing well.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm grateful for that situation because it allowed me to learn empathy and learn what I don't want in a relationship, and that I was able to grow and move on from that. So,
absolutely.
Anyway, I didn't mean for this to be a sermon, but I just love when you and I get together because we have a lot of these similar things, and we have a lot of these similar situations in common. So, and I wish love for everybody.
Absolutely.
I wish love for everybody.
You have to.
But how are you? How are you doing these days? Because I know you're kind of coming out on the other side now. You're looking good.
Oh, here you go. I'm doing a lot of things on the sides. As you know that I switched career totally.
Times are so different now. Like back in my parents' day, you would find a job at a good company or a factory or whatever, and you'd be set for the next 20, 30 years until retirement.
Yeah.
But times are different. Tell me more about the PSW work. So personal support worker.
Yes.
And, Asha was in the hospitality and the administration industry for, in management positions for a good 20 years. And last year, you took this course on being a PSW, and now you're working with Charlie. Tell us about Charlie. He sounds so sweet.
Charlie is adorable. Charlie was a veteran.
Okay.
So I'm working privately for a company, like I'm hired privately, and I've developed a very good relationship. I feel like I'm part of the family now.
So how old is Charlie?
Charlie is 98 and a half.
98 and a half? Holy cow.
And Charlie is still able. He gets up on his own. So all I do is just give him the companionship.
Aww.
Yeah, so we go down. He lives in a retirement home. And
does he get a lot of visitors?
Yes, he does. His boys visits always, mostly Bob.
Aww.
God bless you, Bob. And so we do activities here and there, some walking, go downstairs to the library.
He can still walk pretty well?
Oh yeah, with his walker, of course.
98.
And, yes.
And he's still really with it, right?
Absolutely. And for me, I'm so thankful, as we're talking about being thankful today. And this is what I'm really thankful for, because I'm always drawn or given an opportunity from out of nowhere, and that's what I always wanted. Meeting Charlie and his family was a blessing, because when I met Charlie and Bob, I met them through an agency I was working for, and I was hired privately by Bob and his family to take care of their father. So it changed me, and I changed Charlie's situation in a very positive way. So for me to sit next to Charlie 12 hours a day,
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So yeah,
12
you
hours
are
a day.
like a family member.
We're
really.
reading the newspaper, we're reading books, we're watching TV, mostly CNN, that's his channel.
Wow.
And he's a man of very few words. And I have learned so much from that man.
What is your favorite thing about Charlie?
His poise, his manners. At 98, he would get up in the morning, and the first thing he does, I even have a video of him doing that, is make his bed.
Wow.
And I'm thinking that is discipline, because
Yeah.
he needs to be and that's how he was all his life. And then he would want to go for his breakfast for 8 o'clock, because that's the time sometimes he would sleep in, or he'd be like, no, I don't want to go. Then I would go downstairs and deliver his breakfast, but would go down to the dining room, would sit together, would have our meals together. So it's, it's amazing.
Must touch you just
Yes.
to be able to.
You get really attached to them.
Yeah.
I would be off for 3 days because I work 12 hours, so I work Monday to Thursday. That's 48 hours,
Right.
and I literally have to take 3 days off to recover. Not that I do anything, I just other than just give him companionship and
Yeah.
make sure that
But
he's
it
taken care
is
of.
mentally, it can be not draining, but it does take something of your soul when you're dealing with people, right?
Yes.
And I would say in most jobs you're dealing with people, but like especially service-oriented jobs, like a PSW, even dance teachers, because you're giving a service. Teachers, school teachers, doctors, nurses, receptionists at any front desk. You're constantly giving of yourself to serve others, and there's a depletion of energy sometimes.
Yes.
That's why it makes it important for self-care and just to rejuvenate. It's a natural thing. When I say depletion, it's not like
No. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Some
Yeah, I know
people
what
can,
you
but
mean. Yeah.
yeah, and that's why it's important to kind of have a little bit of me time to kind of refresh.
Yes. So when I go back and Charlie goes, what took you so long?
Oh my gosh, that's
I'm
so
thinking,
sweet.
oh my God, that is killing me. He's adorable, and you know what? How he carries himself, how he does things, with so much gratitude, grace, class.
He sounds like he's a man of much grace.
He is actually, yeah. And that is what I love about being with him. Because even though it's 12 hours, I have all my books, I like reading my books with, Abraham Hicks and,
Oh, yeah.
I watch the Tony Robbins tapes.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll get my iPad and whatever I've downloaded and
Right.
he goes, so what's that? And then he would smile at me and goes, yeah, that's true. And I'm thinking, he's listening.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. So at the same time, we're not wasting time and just sitting and being couch potatoes. I would get him up and I would stretch with him. We'd do some exercise, leg exercises, and, just walk down the hallway.
Yeah.
So it's, very productive.
You're really being with him, as opposed to, you hear about stories of people in long-term care, about
Yes.
how they just get left. But you're being with him. You're not just kind of a body there. You're actually, you're his right-hand person kind of thing.
Absolutely. So what we did is, with the other PSWs, because we're 4, because it's 24 hours
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
And I said to them, if we don't love what we do, then don't do it.
Oh my.
So I'm like,
But you think 98. What do you think you'll be like at 98? What do you hope to be like at 98?
I would hope to be still aware, have my mind still.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
I think
for
that-
that.
that's
That
number
is so
one.
important.
That's number one, because that really equals the quality of your life.
And also have your mobility. And that's why when I'm with somebody like Charlie or in the retirement home and I see everybody with a walker, it gives me, and as I told you this morning when I walked in and said, oh, Asha looked at us and said, yes, it's love, I love myself now.
Yes.
Because I need to make sure that, I'm exercising, I'm eating right. So when I get to 98 and a half, like Charlie, I'll be physically able.
Absolutely.
Because that's the most important thing. Because when you see a lot of the retirees at the retirement home, and they need that 24-hour care, and it's like they can't even, somebody is doing everything for them.
Yeah.
Not that, you know, they wished for that, but when you look
not.
at it's an example for you to say, you know what, God bless them, and may He make easy for them, but I want to be better.
Yeah.
At 98, I want to be still physically possible.
You want to have a quality of life. Like, there's no point to being 98 if you're just going to be sitting around waiting for the days to pass. And sadly, you do see people like that.
I see it every day. You know, 48 hours of the week, I see that. And it has awakened me so much in the sense that I'm more aware, I'm more thankful, I'm more productive and more self-caring than before.
It's so important because when you care for yourself, you have that energy and that vigor to then care for others.
Someone else.
And
you have to come first.
It's true. It is very, very true. Do you know my friend Tassos, who came on the first session? He used to teach this fabulous couple, and who I've met as well. And he asked them one day, he goes, you know, I love the relationship you two have as husband and wife. What is your secret? And she said to him, Tassos, I'm going to tell you the secret to our relationship. The secret is that we put each other first.
Yeah.
And I thought, really? Even above her kids? Because they have 2 boys.
Yeah.
And she said, yes. Because when I know that I'm taken care of, I know he's taken care of, we know we have each other, we can then turn and give it to our children.
Yes.
And she said, don't forget that one day they are going to grow up, and at that point they were already in their 20s and I think moving out. She said one day they grow up, they move on and carry on their own lives.
Absolutely.
And only
right.
you two are left. And if you have not focused on nurturing that relationship, you're in deep trouble. I mean, how many times do you hear about this where, you know, kids go off to university or college and suddenly, excuse me, and suddenly the parents look at each other and go, I don't really know you anymore.
That's right.
And that's when the other time in a marriage where they're most likely to break up is either early teens, because it's very stressful on a relationship, or around the time when the kids leave the house. So I thought, there's something to that. Because most people go, oh, how dare you? You should always put the child first. But it's like being in the airplane. What do they tell you? Everybody uses this as an example. Put your mask on first and then help the person beside you. Because if you're dead, you're of no use to anyone.
Right.
And if you're depleted of the things that you need to nurture your soul, how then are you able to give it to somebody else? And I think this actually comes full circle back to relationships, right?
Yes.
And, you know, because sometimes we love too much. And when I say too much, there is no such thing as loving too much. But when I say loving too much, meaning you're loving too much to the outside and not giving enough to yourself.
Yes.
You're depleting all of that nurtures you in order to be able to love the other person
I'm a testimony.
in the right way. And so when you give everything to them, in a way, I think maybe they don't even end up appreciating it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of, I'm talking out loud.
What I think what it is, Karen, is
that looks good.
I know.
Wow, talking and crocheting. Very nice.
Yeah, so for me, I think I'm so grateful again today. We're grateful and we're thankful because I will never regret any experience I've gone through. Because
I agree.
that has made me stronger, that has made me brighter, that has made me smarter, that has made me more healthier, that has given me tools to handle anything which comes my way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this has prepared me, and I'm telling everybody now, whenever you go through a rough patch, say, bring it on. It might
I love that.
Sometimes
bring it on.
It might break you down. It might make you really, you know, like so you've gotten mad with me so many times because, girl, I don't want to hear about it. Forget about it. I don't want to talk about it. Honestly, Asha, you're right. Me. Anyway, let's move on.
That's a good invitation.
And I'm thinking, I was just telling you, you're not even listening to me.
But having said that, sometimes, and I've done it to myself where I'm like, I don't even want to hear myself think it anymore.
Yeah.
Actions speak
Louder than words.
So sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm going to stop thinking it. I'm going to stop talking it.
Yes.
Saying it. I just got to get up off my ass and do it. And actually, that's how this started.
We have done it.
That's it.
You know, because we decided, listen, if I don't build this person, what the hell am I going to do with the other person?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like, what am I going to do with you if I cannot even think about myself? And if I cannot be with myself alone, what am I going to do with you?
Exactly.
Because you have to be comfortable being alone so you can be able to handle the other person. Absolutely. Who will be in your life or who is in your life, or even your family members, your sisters and brothers, your friends. You know, so that was an experience I will never, ever regret. I would do it over again.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would definitely, I don't know if I'd want to do it over again, but
well,
I don't
you know?
regret
Yeah.
going like through the strife that we go through in life. But, yeah, it just makes me wonder what else does life have in store for me? Yes. That's one thing I've always been very curious. I'm just curious about people and paths and where we're going and where we came from. I'm really big on that.
Yes.
So yeah.
So it's I really I will have to have time doing that. Okay.
Okay, hold on. So you're done. Your rows. That's very good. So now you're going to chain. That's really good. So you chain one.
I told you.
And now you're going to turn and you're going to work this way.
I'm good.
So now what you have to do is you have to fit it into these here. That's why you want to be careful not to make them too tight. Yeah. And then you work your way back. So you go back and forth, back and forth.
I'm passing the exam.
She'll be doing an Afghan by noon.
That's right.
Well, I'm really excited that we finally got it together for you to come over, you know?
Yes.
Like, we've been trying to get it together, but she's been
I
so
remember
busy.
you tested, like, yeah, whatever, it's typical. Typical of Asha. I'll see you next Friday.
Yes, be here or else.
That's right.
Well, it's so funny because, you know, starting this project, we were just talking about, you know, just get out and do something. Also kind of entering a new phase of my life as well. And I thought, this crochet project was always something that I kind of dabbled with in my mind, and I love speaking to people. I love delving into people, finding out about them. And so, yeah, it was at the end of the summer. I said, okay, I just have to start. Just get a tripod, put the phone or the camera on, and just do it. And I have to tell you, it's opened up so much about my way of learning or my way of taking information in. And it's so neat to observe other people's way of learning, like especially teaching crochet. I teach dance already, so it's one way of dealing with how people take in information. But with the crochet, it's always interesting because different people have different dexterities, how people hold a hook, how comfortable they are with the yarn.
Like for me, I'm just doing it, and I'm like, okay, here.
Yeah, like some people just kind of take to it quite easily. Other people are very intense. Some people just are, you know, just give up after a couple of seconds. But it's so fascinating to me because I just see so many different perspectives on the way people look at life and look at things. So I'm really grateful that to have art available in the world, like this piece of art right here, known as crochet. The making of videos, film, the making of music, the making of dance choreography, the making of paintings. I mean, and my brother did say it in the last interview we had, like, you can pretty much look at everything and anything we do in life as art, artful and artistic.
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think living life is an art. It really is.
Yeah.
And learning how to navigate it and survive it and get through it and find fulfillment, I think, is maybe the greatest artistic endeavor any of us can ever take on.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm liking this line.
Well, you're liking that line because it's actually correct. You're doing it very good.
Wow.
Very nice. Wow. We've got row 3 happening here on the stitch
you
session.
better watch it. This girl doesn't fool around. Not anymore.
Not anymore. So what's next on the agenda of life for Miss Asha? So where do you see yourself with the kind of roll two questions into one?
Yeah.
But so you're working with Charlie, and you're working more with the older people.
Yeah.
Where do you see your future? Your next few years in this career path?
I see I should tell everybody that I'm a girl of a lot of trades.
Yes,
I'm also an esthetician, which
Yeah. That's hello. She looks fabulous, so you can tell that.
Yeah, I bought a property, and the goal of that property was to open a Moroccan spa.
Very nice. So that's still it's still in your plan.
That is my plan, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. What I'm doing right now is to build me more, because I'm still interacting with the public, with the people. And what I'm planning to do for future, which is open a Moroccan spa, and that's my goal. And I'm working towards it a lot. I see it happening. I've brought it to life so
Actually,
much.
this ties in, funny enough, but this does tie in really great with being a PSW, because, you have to work with people. Physically, you need to help them with a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And just understanding, this is why your aesthetics background came in so well for this job. And I know people go, what? How does that connect? But it does, because, I remember back in the days when Asha used to give me pedicures or even a massage, because you're a registered massage therapist as well, that she really understands how to work the body, how to work with you, how to touch in a working manner, in a way that makes people feel comfortable. It's so cool, actually, how these two careers kind of have come together. Not only that, but it's also important to see that while she's maintaining this particular goal in mind, she is working a side hustle, we can call it, but it actually feeds into her actual goal.
It does.
So I think that's a great tidbit to teach others, that, just like people want to say, well, I want to be a singer. So all they do is just dream about being a singer and trying to get gigs and all this stuff, which are all really important, and visualization is really important. But you also have to live life. You have to be able to eat. You have to be able to pay the bills. You have to be able to network. And little do you know that all these other little side jobs on this, that help you survive.
Pretty amazing.
You don't know who you meet sometimes. You don't know the kinds of connections that
I've actually met a lot of good people.
See what I'm saying? So, focus is important.
And clarity.
And clarity.
When you want to do something, my advice to everybody, have clarity. Because if you don't have that clarity, and what I've...
be specific.
Be very specific. So my behavior have changed a lot by me writing things down.
Yeah.
Any thought I think about, and I'm thinking, oh, that felt good. Oh, that's a very good idea. So I don't let it go. What I do is I run to my journal and I write it down.
Yeah.
And Karen, when I look, and I've learned this from a friend, his name is Chris.
Okay.
Yeah. And he said to me, I have learned this thing of writing things down with clarity. And when I looked at my list a year later, everything I wrote down came to life because he had clarity.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I have heard that, being able to visually see, it's one thing when it's in your head, right?
Yes.
Because it just kind of pops in and pops out. But when you turn around and you see it written on text in words.
Very powerful.
And I think there's science behind this, but I haven't looked into it, so don't quote me on this. But I think there is science behind the fact that when we see something visually, it has much more impact than if we just think about it.
Yes.
So yeah, I think clarity, writing things down is
it's so powerful.
I
never used to be like that because, as you know me, I was like, ooh.
Well, the thing is, you get inspired and motivated. You're a lot like me that way, and that's why we click so well. But then it's we have to hone it down so that we can then focus to accomplish it. So yeah, a lot of times, and this was my frustration with you back then, is she's got all these ideas, and they were always fabulous ideas, but there were so many of them that she's throwing out and then coming back at her that you would get so overwhelmed, and then you just kind of be like, nothing would get done. So yeah, I think right away get an idea, write it down. I always used to, and I stopped doing it. I don't know why.
You gotta go back.
When
to
I was doing a lot more songwriting, is I always had a pad on me.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if it was a word that came into my head, it was a sentence, it was a paragraph. Sometimes, the odd time something would come into me, I'd sit down and I'd go, whoop, and a whole song would come out. But it's just having that ability to just get it out right away.
Yes.
Helps you to capture the moment. And that goes for anything.
It's so
I think that's
important
really,
that
really
it has
helpful.
changed me as a person. Like I would get up in the morning because that's my time getting up. I get up 4 in the morning. I set my alarm. You've known me when I was staying with you, right? And I set my alarm every day, whether it's Monday to Sunday. I don't change that behavior.
Yes.
I get up in the morning, I say my gratitude, I say my prayers. Very important to me. You know, you have to have that connection with a higher power.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I say my prayers and, you know, I write my thoughts down. Very powerful. Not easy, let me not lie to everybody. It's not the easiest thing
Especially
to do.
at 4 in the morning.
Discipline.
Yeah, discipline is a big
Yes.
thing.
So discipline. And I do that, and I've done that for the last 6 months. And the change in my life.
I can see it in your skin is glowing.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
I just said, enough is enough.
I love it.
I woke up one morning, Karen, literally, I sat down and my tears could not stop flowing. And I'm thinking, no. I got up from the chair, went into my bathroom, looked myself in the mirror, and I said, you, right there, you've got to change that. No more.
I love it.
No more tears.
And that's when you
And
said...
I never looked back. Never looked back.
Is that when you said, bring it on?
Yes.
I like that.
So
I'm gonna use
important.
that. Bring it on.
Bring it on. The minute I got that, oh my goodness.
It's like you were free.
I was like, what?
It's true.
How could you tell someone you did this to me? He or she did not do it to you. You did it to yourself.
Exactly.
Because you have the control in your hands.
Yeah.
It's so easy. And the minute, it took me 3 years, girlfriend.
Better late than never.
It took me 3 years.
But this is the beautiful thing about growing older. Yeah, and again, this goes back to the conversation I had with my brother. Older and wiser. I mean, this is the whole project called life. Life is a project.
Yes.
You're continually learning how to be an evolved, enlightened human being. Some people might do it in 3 years. Some people might do it in 30 years. Some people might never get there. And that's the journey.
That's okay.
But that's the journey, right? We're all on different paths on the same ride.
I was ashamed, I'm not going to lie to you, because I felt like I failed. I
Very
was
normal.
guilty.
I think we've all
and I was
felt that.
hiding a lot of things behind that, you know, because I'm naturally, that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
Like, my mother always used to say, hold your head up, smile,
Yeah.
be patient, be respectful, because she says respect starts with you.
Absolutely.
So I think I confused that with handling my own personal life, because you're confused with it.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, I was told to respect you, but you're disrespecting me, but I'm still respecting you.
Yeah, I see the confusion.
It's really confusing.
No, it's subconsciously, there would be a confusion, and it's amazing how growing up you can misinterpret things.
You can.
Yeah.
But I'm so thankful and grateful again. Today is Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful for both of my parents. They were very liberal, very different from all the other parents, like my cousins.
Yeah,
we were given the freedom to be who we are.
I am very thankful for my parents too, my mom and dad. They were a little bit ahead of their time in where they come from too, because they came from the Azores at a time when, it was not backwards, but they were very slow to catch up to
Same thing,
modern day times. So they came from a background of very antiquated ways of thinking about society and life and men and women and boys and girls and all that stuff. And they held on to some of that, obviously, growing up, but they really learned how to evolve and grow, and it's like open their minds and their souls. And that's one thing that I am so
grateful for.
Grateful, but I have so much admiration for. So, yeah. So on this Thanksgiving Day, I'm very thankful for my parents.
Yes.
So on this Thanksgiving, I want to say I'm very thankful that you were able to squeeze me in. I'm thankful for our friendship.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
being able to have this fabulous conversation with you. And I hope that we should actually do this again sometime.
Over and over again.
Because we can just kind of roll these conversations one into the other. But it was...
It's beautiful, I think.
I think it is good. I think talking, being with people... That's all we can ask for in life.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming out, girlfriend.
Yes.
Love you, Mama.
Me too. Yes, indeed.
No matter what, you know I love you.
Oh,
She loves
yes,
you.
absolutely, absolutely.
So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Stitch Sessions. We have many more guests to come. Make sure to stay tuned. We post every week on Wednesdays. And next week, we have a tutorial on the fingerless gloves. So we're working on this really pretty stitch called the crossover stitch. So that is coming to you next week. So we will see you then. Have a great day and happy crocheting.
Happy crocheting. Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving.